2,000 years ago, wealthy Romans built their homes around an open-air courtyard called an atrium, a hole in the roof that let in light, caught rainwater, and turned the center of the house into its most important room. Today, in rural America, thousands of families are building homes out of steel-frame barns, fast, affordable, practical, and about as far from ancient Rome as architecture gets. So what happens when someone takes those two ideas and jams them together? When you cut a Roman-style, open courtyard straight into the middle of a metal barndominium? It sounds like it shouldn't work. A 2,000-year-old masonry idea meets a modern steel pole barn shell built for cows, not columns. But it does work. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how, what it actually costs to pull off, and the one structural detail that decides whether this idea becomes the best room in the house or a very expensive leak. Before we get into the build, if you're into homes that mix history with practicality, this is exactly what we do here. I'm building homes in Haven into a channel where design ideas actually get explained, not just shown off. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so the next deep dive lands right in front of you. Let's get into it. Let's start with what these two things actually are, because the collision only makes sense once you understand both halves. A Roman atrium was the heart of a wealthy Roman house, or domus. The roof sloped inward toward a rectangular opening called the compluvium, and directly below it sat a shallow basin, called the impluvium, which caught rainwater and channeled it into a cistern below the floor. It wasn't decoration. It was the home's water system, its light source, and its social center, all in one architectural move. Guests were received there. Light poured in there. Air moved through the house because of it. A barndominium, on the other hand, is a distinctly modern, distinctly practical American invention. It's a post frame or steel frame building, the same kind of structure used for agricultural barns and metal shops, converted or purpose-built into a livable home. They've exploded in popularity because they're fast to erect, cheaper per square foot than traditional stick frame construction, and give you enormous open floor plans without a forest of interior load-bearing walls. On paper, these two ideas have nothing in common. One is masonry, symmetry, and rainwater engineering from the ancient Mediterranean. The other is steel trusses, open-span efficiency, and rural American pragmatism. But here's the thing they actually share. Both are built around one big, uninterrupted open volume. And that sheer bone structure is exactly why this fusion works better than it has any right to. Barndominiums have one very well-known weakness: light. Because they're built on wide-span steel or post-frame structures, the most efficient floor plans tend to be deep, open rectangles, great for square footage, but the center of that rectangle can end up far from any exterior wall. Without deliberate design intervention, the middle of a barndominium can be dim, cave-like, and disconnected from the outdoors, even with generous windows on the perimeter. A Roman-style courtyard solves that problem in the most direct way possible. Instead of pushing light in from the edges, you bring it straight down through the center. Cutting an open or semi-open courtyard into the middle of the floor plan does three things at once. It floods the deepest, darkest part of the house with natural light. It creates cross-ventilation, pulling air through the home from the perimeter windows toward the open center. And it gives the barndominium something it almost never has by default: a genuine focal point, a room with no roof that turns a big, open shed into an actual piece of architecture. It's not just aesthetic borrowing. It's solving a real, well-documented barndominium problem using a 2,000-year-old solution that was designed to solve the exact same problem in Roman houses. Here's where the honesty comes in, because this is the part most inspiration videos skip entirely. A barndominium's roof isn't just a covering. In post-frame construction, the roof trusses are often part of the structural system that keeps the whole building rigid and resistant to wind and snow loads. You cannot simply cut a rectangular hole into the middle of that roof and expect the building to behave the same way it did before. When architects design a courtyard into a barndominium, the roof structure around that opening has to be re-engineered. This usually means doubling up trusses on either side of the courtyard opening, adding a structural header or ring beam around the perimeter of the cut, and in many cases installing additional lateral bracing to replace the rigidity the continuous roof used to provide. It's not a weekend project with a reciprocating saw. It's a load path problem that needs a structural engineer stamping the drawings before a permit office will even look at it. But it's not just about doubling up trusses where you make the cut. In post-frame and pre-engineered metal buildings, the steel roof panels act as a continuous structural skin called a diaphragm, which keeps the building from twisting under high wind loads. Cutting a courtyard into the middle of that roof destroys the shear diaphragm, which means your engineer has to design internal moment frames or shear walls around the courtyard, opening specifically to stop the building from racking. That's the term engineers use for the structure twisting out of square under lateral force. The wider the courtyard opening, the more this matters. A small 4x4 skylight style cut is a minor structural event. A true Roman scale courtyard, 10, 15, 20 feet across, is a significant modification to how the entire roof carries snow load, wind uplift, and lateral force, and it has to be engineered that way from day one, not patched in after the shell is already up. The Romans built the impluvium because an open roof means rain comes inside. That hasn't changed in 2,000 years, and it's arguably the single biggest practical challenge in this whole concept. In a traditional masonry Roman house, water dropping into the impluvium was expected, channeled, and even useful. It filled the household cistern. In a modern barndominium, water intrusion near a steel structure is a very different story. Steel framing, spray foam insulation, and interior finishes are far less forgiving of uncontrolled moisture than a Roman stone floor. So modern versions of this idea usually take one of two approaches. The first is a true open-air courtyard, fully open to the sky, with the courtyard floor engineered as its own drainage system, sloped concrete or pavers, a perimeter drain, and waterproofing that extends up the interior walls surrounding the opening, essentially treating that space as an outdoor room that happens to be surrounded by the house. The second, more common approach in modern builds, is a retractable or fixed glass roof over the courtyard, keeping the visual openness and the flood of natural light, while eliminating the water problem entirely. It's worth making a key architectural distinction here. If you leave the roof opening unglazed, you have an authentic Roman open atrium. The moment you cap that opening with structural glass to keep out the rain, architects technically call it a skylit light well or lantern hall instead. Both bring light into the core, but only the true open version gives you the natural airflow the Romans were actually after. Either path is honest and workable. What's not honest is pretending you can cut a hole in a barndominium roof, skip the drainage engineering, and expect it to perform like ancient Roman stonework. The materials are different, and the consequences of getting it wrong show up as rot and rust, not just a puddle. In a real Roman domus, the atrium wasn't just an opening. It organized the entire house around it. Rooms faced inward toward the courtyard rather than outward toward the street, which is part of what gave these homes their sense of privacy and calm. Architects adapting this for a barndominium tend to follow the same logic. Rather than treating the courtyard as an afterthought carved out of a rectangle, the strongest versions of this design put the courtyard at the literal center of the plan, with the kitchen, living space, and primary bedroom all oriented to look into it. Hallways, which in a typical deep barndominium floor plan can feel like long dark corridors, instead wrap around the courtyard as covered walkways, which, notably, is almost exactly what the Roman peristyle did in larger, more elaborate homes with a colonnaded walkway surrounding the central garden. This is the detail that separates a genuinely well-designed courtyard barndominium from a barn with a skylight. The courtyard has to become the organizing idea of the whole floor plan, not a feature bolted onto a floor plan that was designed without it. This concept is not universally suited to every region, and it's worth being direct about that. In hot, dry climates, much of Texas, the American Southwest, parts of the Mediterranean where this idea originated, an open courtyard performs exactly as intended. It pulls in cool evening air, provides shade from surrounding walls and covered walkways, and the risk of standing water or freeze damage is low. In colder, wetter, or snow-heavy regions, the calculation changes significantly. An open courtyard in a climate with heavy snow load adds weight and drainage complexity exactly where the structure has already been weakened by the roof cut. In these regions, the glass roof courtyard approach isn't just a stylistic preference. It's often the only version that makes structural and practical sense, since it keeps the opening but eliminates snow accumulation and freeze-thaw water damage inside the home's structural cavity. Anyone seriously considering this needs to be honest with themselves about their climate before falling in love with the fully open-air version they saw in a photo taken somewhere with 2 inches of annual rainfall. There's a building science detail that makes climate matter even more here than people expect. When you put an open-air courtyard inside a barndominium, you're transforming what used to be 4 interior drywall walls into full exterior walls. Every wall surrounding that courtyard now needs the same insulation, vapor barriers, flashing, and weather-resistant barrier as the actual outside of the house. You're literally building 4 additional exterior elevations inside your home's footprint. In a mild, dry climate, that's a manageable add. In a cold or wet one, it's a meaningfully bigger insulation and moisture management job than most people budget for going in. A standard barndominium shell is one of the most cost-efficient ways to build a home, largely because of its simple, continuous roof structure and minimal interior framing. A courtyard cut directly through the middle of that structure removes a significant amount of that cost advantage. You're paying for structural engineering to redesign the load path around the opening, reinforced framing, or a ring beam around the perimeter of the cut, waterproofing and drainage systems the standard build never needed, and, if you go the glass roof route, a significant additional cost for structural glazing rated to handle wind and snow loads. None of this makes the idea a bad one, but it does mean the honest comparison isn't barndominium versus courtyard barndominium. It's barndominium versus a genuinely custom architectural home that happens to use barndominium construction methods for the parts of the house that aren't the courtyard. Once that courtyard goes in, you're no longer building the fastest, cheapest version of this house style. You're building something closer to bespoke architecture with a metal shell. Given all of that, why does anyone still do this? Because the result is genuinely unlike anything else in residential architecture right now. You get the honest, efficient bones of a barndominium, the wide-open interior spans, the fast build timeline for everything outside the courtyard, the lower cost per square foot compared to traditional stick framing, combined with a centerpiece room that no standard floor plan can offer. A private, light-filled, weatherproofed outdoor room at the literal heart of the house, visible from nearly every major living space. It also solves the barndominium's most common complaint almost completely. The dim, cave-like center of a deep open floor plan becomes the brightest, most desirable part of the house instead of its weakest point. And because the courtyard borrows an idea with 2,000 years of precedent behind it, the finished home tends to read as intentional and architectural rather than like a barn that got expensive furniture, which is a real risk with barndominium interiors that don't have a strong organizing idea. To be fully honest with you, this isn't a detail you add during finishing. It's a decision that has to be made before the trusses go up, because retrofitting a courtyard into an already built barndominium roof is dramatically more expensive and structurally riskier than designing it in from the start. If you're building in a hot, dry climate, if you're working with an architect and structural engineer from day one rather than a standard barndominium kit package, and if you're comfortable spending meaningfully more than a stock barndominium shell to get a genuinely one-of-a-kind result, this idea holds up as one of the more interesting things happening in residential design right now. If you're chasing the fastest, cheapest possible build, or you're in a heavy snow region without budget for a glass roof system, this probably isn't your project. And that's fine. Not every good idea belongs in every house. What's actually happening here isn't nostalgia. It's not architects borrowing a Roman detail because it looks good in photos. It's 2 building systems, separated by 2,000 years, solving the exact same problem. How do you get light, air, and a sense of center into a deep, enclosed floor plan, using whatever technology was available to them? The Romans had stone and gravity. We have steel trusses and structural glazing. The idea in the middle hasn't changed at all. If this gave you a new way to look at barndominiums, that's exactly the kind of thing we dig into at Homes and Haven. Every video here is about understanding the why behind a home, not just admiring the finished photos. If you want more breakdowns like this one, subscribing genuinely helps this channel keep going, and it means you won't miss the next one. So from all of us at Homes and Haven, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.